What do you come with?
Okay, so as I wrote the notes from the 70 topics when you taught the first topic of mind generation, it said that the earth, gold, and moon, those correspond to the 3 levels of the path of accumulation, so that's good. But then the fire, so the mind generation that's like fire, that corresponds to all 4 levels of the path of preparation. That was what I had written for my notes from 70 topics. And so I checked that against some sources, and that seems to be confirmed. But in the teaching last week, you said that fire only referred to the heat level, and that great treasure referred to the peak, and then jewel mine to forbearance, and then ocean would refer to the supreme mundane dharma. So,
yeah. So the last week is not correct.
So the 70 topics teaching was correct.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I couldn't figure it out.
Karzana, Kazan did Drangako, Mise Pesha Malong, Kotaj, Teresam Collapsharos. And Tiri Devra Kacharangi Toba Satisana, Pesha Tadu, Captain Shidana Tadu. Tamji Mut. You mut. Okay. Okay, that's good.
Okay, so last week Geshe said he thought, it was, and it goes with the, with all these different levels, of the path of accumulation and the path of preparation. So he just, mentioned like that, but, you were right. Yeah. He also found, on the first chapter of the Ornament of Clearization, that's how it was explained. So what you said is right.
하는 데는 동보섬지 중어단 대다 첨보섬 동보섬 넣었어. 안에 사초멜 바로 사세 다와 대양 사세 다와 매 저 사세 다와 매섬데 안에 전화 주문 데 첨보섬지 데레스 데디버레스 베란도스.
So yeah, it is said there, so it's pretty clear that the first 3, the earth, gold, and the moon, are, for the first 3, the paths of the accumulation, the small, middling, and the great path of accumulation.
And the teacher the owner sa tombola and jubelam did not touch along with the language.
Then it?
The order chigna and the sa tombola and jubelam did this. That is your number.
And so then the 4th one, it says is up to entering into the first ground, and so which includes all of the path of preparation.
And the Theodo Chuna Rabdagavala Sachudius.
Then the next 10, the next 10, which is from 5, to the 14, are all corresponding with the 10 grounds.
And the Theodo Ngan Chavajalam did this, Tabaji Tabasa de la Ronde. Chavajalam.
And then the next 5, from 15 to 19, are for the it says a special path, so I think it's referring to the 3 pure grounds.
The Theodo Sumna Jovada Nidan Jubicon Sanchez Divores, Jung going to Sanchez Divores.
And then the last 3, are like the preparation, the actual, and the conclusion are included in the Buddha ground.
Okay. That's all just why.
Thank you.
Is that what you saw also? It's
yes.
Clear now?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Tangama and the Shenichi, the Legamo Tedo.
So Geshe said, he because of his mistake, you got a lot to do. Huh? You got into doing a lot of work.
It's good. It's good. Ouch. Any other questions? Arvo, Bob, Karen, Deborah?
One question on, I don't know if it's jumping ahead too much, but on the first ground of a bodhisattva superior, they need to have a direct realization of emptiness. And I always get a little bit confused because then they say the sixth ground is the perfection of wisdom. So I always wonder why the perfection of wisdom ground comes after the direct, later than the direct realization of emptiness.
가서 발생이 냠래.
그래도 사당분에 그 돈이 와서 또 오라. 이나다 사 두바데 되네다 가서 먼저 파진주의 파다 사주를 파자도네 두바데 다 셔랑 파지 키고라. 셔랑이 파진세 셔랑이 파진데 되는 두바를 모두 샤입니다. 돈이 와서 또 하든 담은 또 오라스.
아니 대도 인사 말 돈이 또 받으니 셔랑 파지도 자고서 말이야. 단다 발신 죄대 배나 사주를 파고나 다그 차차로 봐. 셔당게 안에 단다 발신이 셔랑 파지 냠래 사통 매우 끼쳐도 인사 말이야. 나 사통봉이 발에 셔당 파지 쪽에 냠래 여러 와다. 이나 파지 지 나네 장 안에 또 그런 데데 냠래 가가 장으로 와. 매우 끼쳐도 인사 말이야.
아니 두바들 되는 믹스가 셔랑 파지 샤고 주저가리나.
제자 맨 사탐보네 사초와 발에 사초를 봐. 아니 발신 쪽을 고서만 다 두바 다다 파지 셔랑 파지 차로 이러 와.
So yeah, it doesn't mean that when you're on the first ground, you have not realized the emptiness directly. Yes, you have emptiness, realize emptiness directly, and so the purpose. I mean, the way it is arranged. The 10 grounds. With the 10 perfections. It's the sixth one is the perfection of wisdom. It is because of that. Otherwise, it doesn't mean that other grounds don't have the practice of that perfection of that ground. So like the perfection of generosity, is also, possessed by the other grounds as well. Just like that, the perfection of wisdom is also possessed by the other grounds, the ground, first ground, second ground. They also have perfection of wisdom.
아니 다 나중에 배나 사탐보 니바도 배나 니라는 로이터지 사기네로 그랬어. 사투바위 아니 가로 리지다지 사톰 배나 샹초 선바 사톰보 니바도 아니 샹초 니라 니투 바바도 리지다지 사기네로 그랬어. 아니 샤서 사투바는 로이터지 사기네. 간제 다 샤라가 파지 슉 첨부 바 도게 되고 샤라 배나 돈이도 볼로 금바 슉 쳇쳇쳇 로이터로 왔어.
So and of course, also as you meditate, as the Bodhisattva meditates on the profession of wisdom, his level of understanding of the profession of wisdom becomes deeper, or higher and higher, as it goes up. So that's why he says that on the first and second ground, they outshine, the healers and solitary realizers by the lineage, by the lineage, they are outshined by the lineage, and when they reach, to the sixth ground, then they outshine the hearers and solitary by knowledge.
And 다 나중에 배나 사담바 mention라 아니 마다 sabde 사담바라 다바 사습제 배나 디네가서 바에까지 뇽몽베겠다 배나 가로 니럽 다시 타워도 빠르고 요래서.
And then also, during from the seventh, the 8th, 9th, and 10th ground are called the pure ground. And before that are impure ground. And the reason is because after that, during the impure ground, they still have the delusions. Right? And then after the impure ground, when they reach the pure ground, then every delusion will be abandoned. All the delusions, all the deluded obstructions will be abandoned. So there's still obstruction to knowledge, but the deluded obstruction are all abandoned, including their seeds.
아시다 드네로 매로 다 간다셔도 배나 돈하고 내가서 돈이가서 또 오르다이나 다 돈이다 야 슈체체 다나 고매서라 배나 슈체체 슈 고매서라 봐요.
And so of course, during the first ground, you realize emptiness directly, but your level of understanding of, or realization of emptiness becomes, stronger and stronger, as you meditate more and more.
내가 너 짜러지 매나 주나고 비 마버는 코 짜 타워쳐다네 단다 주시나고 말 대차 이래 드네로 매로.
So it's like burning, when you burn iron, into a fire. When you put the iron into fire, then it starts to get hot and then become red. But if you keep on burning again and again, it becomes more and more red. How does it work?
Can it
go higher and higher? Like the degree can raise higher and higher?
Actually, I think it can turn white.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Yeah.
So then that's hotter than the red?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, that's a difference, right? That's a different level of heat. So, as you burn more and more, it becomes hotter and hotter. And so your meditation, the realization of emptiness, more you meditate on it, stronger it becomes. The realization becomes even stronger and stronger to overcome, to counteract, or to overcome the delusions.
Okay. Yes.
I have a question. I memorized the names of the grounds, and some of the names and the associated attribute are really interesting. Like the 8th ground is the way I memorized it from the list I had was immovable and prayer. Why do they use that? Immovable prayer, good intelligence, power, clouds of dharma, exalted wisdom. It's kind of interesting. So what was the connection with immovable prayer, the first of the pure grounds, the number 8?
Yeah, so there is an example, to apply to that name. There's an example, that you can apply, to the name, the specific name given, but I don't remember exactly what it is. So I think it will come, as we go by those from that context. As we reach the context of that, level, it will explain that.
Okay.
Because the way I read this is for me, it's like for me to be able to get it, I build lists that I memorize, and that's how I go forward with this. So thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? So
maybe it's better we go a little further now, right?
Then you guys have more questions. And so
now, what is the definition of the Bodhisattva ground? You have the text with you, right? To page 22?
Page 22.
At the top of the page 22, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You want to read it?
Yeah, someone can read.
Did Mara? Did Kaza? 장사 법에서 있으니. 법에서 이거.
장사 소식하는 로사 말. 전화 로사라.
나 법에서 이거라.
다 법으로 말해.
Yeah. And so now, so we went through the ordinary, right? The ordinary Bodhisattva ground, and now the next is the Bodhisattva superior ground, right? So that's the ground of the Bodhisattva superior, and then the definition it says the clear realization of a Bodhisattva superior, which is conjoined with a great compassion and the wisdom that realizes emptiness in direct perception.
어제 다 이제 전부다 돈이 것도 싫어지 섬스나 가도 다 뒤탄다 가는 것만 가서 사람 같이디가 몰라서 봤어.
So it says to conjoin with the great compassion and the wisdom that realizes emptiness in direct perception. So what do you understand that when it says conjoined? We talked about that during the other class, right? Conjoin. What does conjoin mean in this context?
They support each other. When one increases, the other increases.
편줄 더 쳐봤어.
어떻게 다 대충은 맞지야죠. 정말 순수하지만 제가 돈이 또 베셔라데 아니 내차가 समय 여러왜 이제 전부터 나도 समय 여러서나
And so yeah, so that's what it means. So don't forget that. Okay, remember that all the time. Whenever we hear conjoin, that word conjoin in this context, that's what it means. It means like supporting each other for each other to generate, even stronger. So in that case, can the compassion be conjoined with the delusion or attachment?
다 달라 상조 선배 안에 사주 담아요. 다 내단에 다 안에 제제 버스.
So then here it talks about that when divided there are 10. The first ground, like the first, second, third, all the way up to the 10th ground.
데 파지 제제도 단당에 무슨 빼로게 잠이야. 저도 지시가지는 도도 시행 되리 시행했어.
So Geshe, he hasn't had the time to go through each of the definition of each ground, the name and the definition, or the meaning of the name of each ground. And so it doesn't want to mess up like last time. So don't want to make too much work for you. So we'll go through that next time.
그렇지. 다들 말도 같이도 유선 나간도 안에 사도 말하다게 왔으니까 그러셔.
So in a sense, if someone says, so that is like, other persons, not our own system, but from our other person's opinion, right? So when we are done with that, then therefore if you go down to the
티고들도 같이도 독사거든요. 로나나 파시 매베셔 사이도.
So yeah, okay. So then they says that this follows because the profession of generosity on the paths of learning does not exist. Right. After that, and then the second paragraph on the next page, page 23, says therefore the definition of the first ground, the very joyful is says right.
얘들아 파시 지는 진비 파시 냠내 첼라바도 베사도 미치나. 되나 트르지 파시 냠내 첼라바마다. 파지 젠바도 냠내 예지 냠내 미세 텔을 하와매지 파지 찌는데 가서 코도 파지 찌는데 파 고산도 지 체로 잡아이나 아니 진비 파시는 냠내 첼 하바도 되겠다 사도 라도 바드레스.
And then it says an exalted wisdom of the first ground, which has not attained the higher practice of the profession of ethic and above, but which has attained the higher practice of the profession of generosity from within the 10 perfections. And so again, like we talked about earlier, so doesn't mean that it doesn't have that, but it has, especially it's like, practice of the profession of generosity from within the 10 perfections, and it has attained the higher practice.
제가 냠내 첼하바도 사이드가 거나 냠내 여바 하고 그랬으나 텔레텔 하고 하고 그랬어.
냠내 신다도 요르스 그래.
요요레스.
So yeah, so there is a practice of like morality and so forth, and in the first ground, but it just has higher practice of the generosity in the first ground.
제가 두진에 다스 사당보네 사치에 받아 아니 파시 줄어지는 그래.
So again, it says the first ground has attained, it has some level of some practice of morality and so, but it doesn't have the higher practice of morality or higher practice of patience and so forth, right? But it has the practice of the higher, practice of patience, wisdom, concentration, all that, but not the higher ones. So what higher practice it has is the practice of generosity.
오다 대전에 안에 링되는 거 다가가 링되는 거 사니바데 파시치 나니 짐바 트름지 파시 냠네 찰라바지 짐바도 텔을 하바 매바시 야 매비케자 말해.
So now we go following similar way, in a similar way. And so now the second, is the profession of morality, right? And so the second ground, has a higher practice of the morality, but doesn't have a higher practice of other professions, right?
Oh yeah.
Do have a practice of the other profession, but does not have the higher practice of other professions, but it only has the higher practice of morality, like that, in the second ground.
오야 다 누나 주망가서 되서서나 지나서 올라서 외올로요데 아니 파시주데 레레 바레 사주데 레레 베나 그로 대신에 어때 잡으러 왔어.
Now, and so this is a homework for all of us, right? To find the etymology of the ground, right? Each ground. So the first one is called the joyous ground. Why is it called joyous ground, right? What's the etymology of the joyous ground? And then then it says the stainless, right? The second ground is the stainless. Why is it called stainless? Like that.
Okay,
and now the first the ground, the very joyful ground has how many divisions? So it can be confusing, if we don't pay a really good attention to this part first. So because in the first ground there are two, right? So both part of seeing and part of meditation are in the first ground. So there is a part of meditation and a part of seeing in the first ground.
Okay. Satomo Nandolo Karo Satomo Pache Melo, Satomo Nandola, Tini Karma Sato, Sums. That Junila Tini Yabajo, Satomo Ishika, Jarang Gaji, Denzi in Shapa, Satomo Pache Melogis, and yes at all.
And then it says when the first ground, very joyful, is divided, there are three. The uninterrupted part of the first ground, the part of seeing, part of release of the first ground, and an exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise of the first ground, which is neither of these two. And then the definition of the uninterrupted part of the first ground is an exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise of the first ground, which is in meditative equipoise one-pointedly on suchness, and serves as an actual antidote to the apprehension of true existence, which corresponds to it.
Okay. And that is done. Tell I in the Satuman, Tono Pachemano, Gona Pachem, Tenda Satuman Nishadon, Tono Pachemano, Gona Pachemana each.
And then so now we're talking about the uninterrupted part of the first ground, right? Uninterrupted part of the first ground. And then it says when divided there are two, uninterrupted part of the part of seeing and uninterrupted part of the part of meditation.
Okay. And Tono Pacheta, and Satumu Pachemala, Rango, then the Godin Shapa, Satuman, Tono Pachemala, Tela and Nash, and Zubajayos, they are not taking Tono Pachemala to choose.
And then it says the definition of the uninterrupted part of the seeing of the first ground. Then it says that which is an uninterrupted part of the first ground, and which serves as an actual antidote to the acquired apprehension of true existence, which corresponds to it. When these are divided, there are 8 forbearances. This uninterrupted part of seeing of the first ground and the uninterrupted Mahayana part of seeing are mutually inclusive.
Okay, that is Satuman. Satuman Tono Pachema. Satuman Tono said they Kazan into the Chibachi Jares.
So the part of seeing of the first ground, the part of seeing of the first ground, is very similar, with the part of seeing, of the hearers.
Satimun Tono Pachemala, Satimun Tono Namdola, Satimun Tono Jetoshi is some of your race.
So then there's the uninterrupted part, of the Sadamu
Pachemala, Tono Pachemala, and then Namdolam, and the Jetashi some by your race.
Nyamsheshimara.
And you say my batch. Yamjashi can't get me. Yamjashi don't like it. Satum Tonola, Tono Pachemala, Tono Namdolada, Tono Jetoshi some by your race.
Mara Jedwishit Mara.
Jetoshi my batch. They love them.
Can you go to my muscle?
They can even do so.
Namdolam Shavana, then a Pachemelam, Namdolam Janet, then you got my musum shower.
Oh, Teddy, come up your Namdola, Tono Pachemano, Tono Namdola, that thing you come up your some shower.
Oh, And so now the first ground has the uninterpreted part of the first ground, right? Of first ground of the part of seeing, and then and then there is uninterpreted, and so the part of the listener of the first ground of the part of seeing, and then there is neither of the meditative equipoise. That's neither of those two, right? Neither of those two of the first ground of the part of seeing.
다 델만도 저도 통고도 라 되지 다 안에 돈로 대단 돈로 받지면 어떻게 델라에 시시 다 사도 받지면라는 거지 대한테 현재적인 이시 봐 사도 고나 받지면 되니 대단 사도 기지 타마시면 사도 고나 받지면 되지 주일날 되지는 냐마저 거지 라다 냐면 되지도 집에 받지면 거지 저발에 저 사도 넘어라지 되니 델라는 돈로 시바제예스 단 되니 가는 많이 만나 건사가 담을 되지는 냐마저 돈하다 이 돈아 되지는 많이 되진 돈하다 대전이 돈아 제도지 제도 라야 돈을 냐마냐 다 보고
And then it says here, there's the definition of the uninterpreted part of the part of the part of the first ground, right? Then after that is the uninterpreted part of the meditation and of the first ground, and the uninterpreted part of the part of meditation of this first ground, which is generated at the first moment of the first ground, are mutually inclusive. The definition of the part of release of the first ground is 티가랑은 저다 골럼도 저거래.
거기다.
사당부 거서 사당부 골럼 받지면라.
아, 골럼 받지면.
그래.
대단 안에 사도 먹기지 타마시베 골럼 받지 별대지레스.
Alright. And so it says uninterpreted part of the path of meditation of the first ground, which is generated at the last moment of the first ground, are mutually inclusive.
제가 티건 돈을 받지면라도 골럼 받지 이제 로살다.
And so with that, both the uninterpreted part of the both, part of seeing and a part of meditation are gone now.
다 안에 주일날 뜨지는 냐자식 강하지 라다 냐자 뜨지대 집이 받지면 거 저발에 저기 사도미 시대 사도모 나눠라지 세니스.
And then this is the definition of the path of release of the first ground is that which is an exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise, one-pointedly on suchness, and an exalted wisdom of the first ground, which has abandoned the obstructions corresponding to the uninterpreted path, which arose in the same session of meditative equipoise with it.
Okay. 다 안에 사도 나눠라지 세니스. 얘는 대진 돈을 시바제예스.
And then when divided, there are 8 knowledges of the path of seeing of Mahayana.
다 대전진 돈을 받지 말아야 마야 남도나야 마이데 가렸나 아니 대전 돈을 배지지 강사가 다음에 대지는 냐마지면 니들이 돈하다 아니 니 돈을 대지는 니들이 돈하다 대전진 돈을 제더 지제서 라야 돈이라 되면 냐샤지 따오고
And then the exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise of the first ground, which is neither of these two, right? So neither of these two, neither uninterpreted part of the first ground nor the part of release of the first ground. As these two, is for instance a part of seeing of the Mahayana, which is in one-pointed meditative equipoise on the selflessness of the person, and the part of seeing of the Mahayana, which is in one-pointed meditative equipoise on emptiness of duality, and an exalted wisdom of the first ground, which is in meditative equipoise one-pointed on emptiness, which is subsequent again to the exalted wisdom of subsequent attainment of the Mahayana part of seeing.
야, 다처럼도 되게 가라고서. 야, 저도 가라고도.
So what do you understand now from that?
가는 고비소야. 다 가지 고 수소야.
Do you understand what it's saying, talking about in that paragraph?
아, 가래라 고쳐 맞아. 고마서다 지랍도 되니 뒤걸 지잖아 마시. 당하고 차다셔다 하고 뭐.
So you just tell me what you didn't understand, then we can talk about that.
What we didn't understand or what we did understand?
What you didn't understand. If you understand, then nothing to talk about.
I guess I have a question too.
Yeah.
is it possible to begin a beginner's path and then, and we've talked about it before, and then go back and re-enter in the medium path? I mean, can you go back and forth?
From where?
If you begin, let's see. So when you enter the path, when you're gaining equipoise, so that's the middle path. Is that correct?
What do you mean? Like, so like when you enter into the minor path of seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
from there you go back again, you mean?
Yes, and then, I mean, I guess what I don't understand is once you enter the path, can you do reverse? Can you make like a bad choice?
Yeah,
And then
it's possible. Yeah, it's possible.
Tolam to sanada do mara.
아니, 돈은 요말, 된도 요말. 얘지 뭐기라. 돈은 요말.
So from here, from the path of seeing, what we're talking about now is a path of seeing. So once you have reached the path of seeing, then you don't fall back.
Okay.
You don't fall back at all. You know, which is good, right? So you don't want to fall back. You don't fall back.
Yeah, exactly.
Up and up.
Yeah. Okay, that is good. That helps with confidence. Like it's okay to keep moving forward. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Bob, Harvard. Any questions? Yeah, Bob.
Oh, it's just hard for my mind to remember all the words. So it's hard.
Yeah.
It makes it hard to get.
For me, it's the language is really difficult. I mean, I understand that once you're on the path to seeing, if you're going with the 5 grounds and the path to seeing, that's when when you're able to apprehend emptiness directly. I get that. And then I get that the first bodhisattva ground is on top of the path to seeing, and then the rest of the 9 are on the path of meditation. I get that because I can keep that order. But this paragraph is a lot. It's like a lot of run-on. So I have to really, if I break up the terms, I mean, it's like a legal document. So I have to take it, if this, then that. So it's quite, my mind, it's a little harder. I just have to keep reading it and see what I get. But so for me, I guess I have to just break it up into pieces, and then I understand the pieces. If I have question, I will ask. I won't be shy. Thank you.
Okay, Jennifer, how about you?
I don't have any question about it.
But can you understand?
I think so.
Can you explain? Then they can understand more maybe.
Okay, so what we're talking about is an exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise of the first ground, which is neither the uninterrupted path or the path of release. And there's 3 examples given. And the first example, in meditative equipoise on the selflessness of persons is neither, is because that wouldn't be considered, that's not a Mahayana object of meditation that wouldn't be the actual antidote to the afflictions that are removed on the path of seeing. And the same with the meditative equipoise on duality. And then the last one is interesting. So it says, and also meditative equipoise at one point on emptiness, which is subsequent again to the exalted wisdom of subsequent attainment of the Mahayana path of seeing. That makes it sound like so that you go into, after the path of release, you're in subsequent attainment, then you go back into meditative equipoise. So that's what that's referring to, and they're saying that's not the uninterrupted path or the path of release. But is that the uninterrupted path that goes into the path of meditation?
Mama jeta ku jisa 제탑랑 양 돈이라 파냐 맞아 되겠다.
어디디?
제탑 제탑 제 말다. 제탑 말다. 대냠자 맞아 돼. 제다다 대전 돈을 받지마 가지는 말했어.
말해.
아니.
제톱을 줄라다.
말말. 대전 돈을 제털에 라양 쓰면 돼.
아니?
가로 대전 돈을 제터시 제서 라양 돈이라 되는 냐마자시 다월도. 제답마다 제답부터 전에 양조 돈이라 냐마자 돼. 담보 대전 돈을 받지마 나지. 전에 남로 나지. 대니가 냠자시도 봐. 대전에 제타시지. 다 제타지나다 다된 돈을 제타시도 봐. 다는 고나 차이 말에. 다 양조 돈이라 냐마자를 대라거다.
어디?
제다 다된 돈을 말에. 고나 말에 와서 고나로에 말에. 다된 돈을 받지마 가지는 말이었어. 돈을 받지마 남남달라 고를 가지는 말이. 가지는 말이잖아.
이는 돈은 냠샤이 시리아스.
돈은 냠자시래서. 이난 돈을 받지마 말은 돈을 남달라 말이지. 가르치는 말이잖아.
그래.
다들 지와다 지와.
So that one is right. So that one you're talking about is so you go into meditation on emptiness, let's say, and then you become under the path where you apply the antidote, and then with that antidote you overcome that acquired delusion or like the corresponding delusion, and corresponding delusion grasping a true existence, and then then that becomes the path of release, right? And then after when you have abandoned that, then you don't have to be in meditation anymore. So you come out of the meditation, which we call the subsequent attainment, or the post-meditative equipoise. And then after that, you do all the things, and then to accumulate more merit. And then after that, okay, so then you say, okay, now I have accumulated enough merit to go into meditation on emptiness to tackle the next level of the delusion. And then you go into meditation, right? So you have not reached the path of meditation yet. You are still in the path of seeing, and so that is the entering into the meditation and meditative equipoise on suchness, and after the subsequent attainment. And so why is that not uninterpreted path and path of release, of the path of seeing? Why is it not? But it is the meditative equipoise, of the path of seeing, but it's neither uninterpreted path nor the path of release, right? Yeah. Why is that? So that's the question.
I think because then you've already overcome the acquired apprehension of true existence in the uninterrupted path. So you've already overcome that. So you go back, and now you're free from that. Those.
가서는 뭐라다 된 요몬 군다 가자 덴지 군다디 빵사레스.
그래서 그도 빠는데 사도면 아니 받지마 이거 말아. 받지마 남들랑 가 이거 그래.
가로 많이 걸었어. 빵사나. 다 찌기 원이 제가 찌기 빵 받지고 그랬어.
알레야. that's good. 제단이 빵와 들어봤어. 제다시 빵 들어봤어.
이 빵만 말했어. 디코 빵에 요 말다 빵에 조사랬어.
알레 빵에 조사랬어.
빵에 조사랬어.
오늘 때 대전 돈을 아니 제다시를 말해. 제다시 말해.
So is that a subsequent attainment or no?
No.
마이너 차티 호텔로 되는데 대란 대전 돈을 제다시 되는데 실로 어떻게나. 호텔 다른도.
Then what does it say here? The subsequent attainment of the first ground, right? It says a definition. Can you read? So let's read that, okay? A clear realization of the truth, of the Mahayana, which has arisen from the path of release, of the first ground, and which has become manifest in the continuum of a person who possesses that in her continuum. That's the definition of the subsequent attainment.
제다 대토저 단다 대전 돈을 제다시기 지서 라야 돈이라 냐마자시 때 아니 대전 돈을 제다시 말해.
So after the subsequent attainment, you again meditate on emptiness, right? That meditation is not subsequent attainment?
Well, how can it be a meditative equipoise?
예, 자, 대전 통로 제도하시는 나타로 was.
제도이신 말했어요. 제도이신
남 대전 통로 남달래 나타로 was. 남달라 많이 남달래 나타지로 was.
uh-huh.
근데 라질라도 가지는 게 이제 좋아더라 was. 그 돈이랑 냠바지 냐자지다 가다 티지 냠자지 인간지요 와.
So it is the clear realization of the truth of the Mahayana which has arisen from the path of release, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
Rest, rest.
제가 라질라 가지고 가다지 인간지 좋아더라 was.
And it has become manifest in the continuum of the person who possessed that in her continuum, right? So it has all the part of the definition.
I didn't realize though that but it says that it's a meditative equipoise one pointedly on the emptiness, which is subsequent again. So that sounds, I thought that would have to be latent in subsequent attainment, but you're saying it's a manifest mind?
얘다 그 냠자지 인간지 제대로 와. 냠자지 냠자가 로동엔 제대로 was. 로 제마 제만 was.
Interesting.
So it says that it is the clear realization of the truth of the Mahayana, which has arisen from the path of release, right, or the first ground, and that one. So he's talking about the clear realization of the truth of the Mahayana, right, the Mahayana, which has become manifest, which is manifest means which is manifesting, right, which is manifest in the continuum of a person who possessed that in her continuum.
그래서 나도 이 그에 대고 가라 니가 가로 니가 로동엔 제대로 로 젬바도 요마데 니가 로코는 게 제대로 와.
And so at this time, right, like manifesting means like when we're sleeping, or the sleeping consciousness or sleeping mind is manifesting. So other minds are not manifesting at that time.
제자 바체말로도 남달라도 줄라야 바체말로 남달라는 제대로 로 젬바는 제만 와죠.
And so during the uninterpreted path and then the path of release, only those paths are manifesting. Other paths are not manifesting at that time, right?
예, 자타던데 갈 말이다. 대지도로 제도시 되왜.
So therefore, that that meditation and a subsequent again after the subsequent attainment, you go back to meditate on emptiness. So that kind of mind, that kind of path, is that the subsequent attainment or not?
Well, it sounds like according to the definition it is. But I still.
오케이. 예, 자타. 나는 되게 켈랭거로 왔어.
Yeah, because you have to accept the definition, right?
Yeah.
제가 내 남주 깔래요. 내 남주 때 깔래요 그래서.
Yeah, this one is a little bit tough. Usually it's really tough.
남주 내가 그 때 제가 대학교 여버렸어. 근데 돈 맞은 학교 말이야.
So you have to really pay attention to this, otherwise it's not easy to understand.
제가 제가 내가 가르치자로는 된대대 까는 것에 때문에 돈을 제도지 생기는 돈을 제도지 되니 많이 쓰는 들으려고 그랬어.
So last time we talked about of this context, right? Of this time, it is this is the definition of the subsequent attainment, of this time, but it's not the definition of the subsequent attainment.
제가 맨날 그 냠자지 차대로 왔어.
And so it is meditative equipoise, right? It is
제가 네, 다만 제도지는 냠자지 많이 거다. 때때인데 거를 제도지 해야 돼. 제도비시는 냠자지 많이.
근데 갑들 모습 때문에 제도비시 많이 써 그래.
맞나? 가드 무슨 때문에 제도지 생기 때 있어. 제도지 생기 때 많이 있어.
네네. 아니 근데 제나되는 거죠. 근데 다다 라이언 돈이 모습 또 불러줘라.
네.
냠바잡아 냠샤이시려라. 돈이 냠샤이시 제도비 제수. 라이언 돈이 모습 돈이 냠샤이시디. 아니 가래 갑들 모습 때문에 제도시 있으래.
제도지 많이 있어. 제도지 많이 있어.
And the couple most of the Jetashi change Shaido.
Mama, Mama, Tichiota. On a Jetaji 10 years, cutting into Jetati man, Chiota, Tangateo, Shipshat Temas, Tiporchi, Nota Yorko.
Oh. So then it's kind of confusing, right? Because if you say this is the definition of the subsequent attainment of this time, of this context, but not the definition of the subsequent attainment, then it will become like saying that meditation on emptiness, after the subsequent attainment, is, you have to say is the subsequent attainment of this context of this time, but not the subsequent attainment, right? Then that's confusing again. So I don't know exactly, so exactly what it is. So there is some difference like that. It could be the subsequent attainment of this context, but not a subsequent attainment, or subsequent attainment, but not a subsequent attainment of this context. So I don't know exactly which one it is.
So is this because it says which has arisen from a path of release, so it has to be immediately following the path of release?
Tadi nyamsha jeto vishina namdo lamla langwach goras. Te tanda tanda ki tanda tonyo ngosto be dan nyamsha ishi tonyo nyambasha be nyamsha ishi jora. Jeto bi jeso tanda tonyo nyamsha ishi de namdo lang lama mais. Ti jeza ko jeto ishi mayala na.
Namdo Lara, Namda Langungan Rotarwa, Nangan Rot Kolasajiro, Yalasarwa.
Lang tsawa lang tsama ka mares gora kwesina.
Tamaki Malana Lapchur, take on the Tinina Medua de. Tabena and Tejendo Namdo Lale is Laves, Tejetamanga to Kanji, Rajala and Joanna Kotado, is Lamana, Teme,
So yeah, in the definition, it says a reason from the path of release, right? It's a reason from the path of release, but doesn't say directly a reason from the path of release. So if he says directly release and a reason from the path of release, then what you said is right. It's not directly a reason from the path of release, but it is a reason from path of release. So after first you have to complete the path of release, and then from there, then it comes, right? So it is after that. So it is after a reason from the, it is a reason from the path of release, but it's not directly released from the directly a reason from the path of release. So if the definition says directly a reason from the path of release, then what you said makes sense.
Chetan Dekola Kazanado, Vichana, Gishing Abjan in Dekola Dolimum Chess on that. Karichen Ya, Karichen, Dolimum Chessos, consideration telling at the Chemudo. They took you that took you.
So according to the definition, it looks like it has to be that, but it's not that, right? It's not, because the meditative equipoise on emptiness after the subsequent attainment is a meditative equipoise, right? If it is a meditative equipoise, it has to be not subsequent attainment. So it cannot be both meditative equipoise and subsequent attainment at the same time. It cannot be. So if it is meditative subsequent attainment, meditative equipoise, then it has to be not meditative, not subsequent attainment, right? So Geshe said they had like 500 Geshes, discussion about that. Yeah, so nobody can tell exactly what it is. It's like nobody can come to the 100% decision.
And then Tejan number live said that Nithan or Kogo, that yellow shower, that Nithan or Kogo, that the patch is.
And so, like what you said, Bob, if we even though it's not said in the definition, but we say, yeah, it means like has to directly arise, from the path of release, So even though it's not said in the definition clearly, but that is understood. If you say that is understood like that, then maybe that will solve the the puzzle. You understand the dilemma here for that definition? So if you understand the dilemma, of that definition. You know, does that make sense? Dilemma? Or the confusing part?
Yeah, yeah.
The
Yes.
difficult to understand part of that definition. You know, if you understand that, then that's good. So if you don't understand that, then you will have no doubt. You know? Okay, like that, you just go on. But if you understand that, then you'll have a doubt, then you will debate. So if you are debating, then then you will see a lot of problems there. But if you just go on like a meditation, I say, oh yeah, okay, just meditate on that, then there's no problem. Then is an exalted wisdom of subsequent attainment of the first ground, and an exalted wisdom of the subsequent attainment of the Mahayana path of seeing are mutually inclusive. So it's very similar to that, right? And so in the continuum of the Bodhisattva on the uninterpreted path, the path of seeing, uninterpreted path, is there a bodhicitta, or is there a wisdom realizing selflessness in their continuum? In the continuum of the Bodhisattva on the uninterpreted path, the path of seeing.
The wisdom realizing selflessness of persons? In their continuum?
Yeah.
I would say it's there, but it's latent.
Yes.
Because they're focused on emptiness.
Yeah, so yes, you have to say it is. Yeah, they have the realization of that, but it's latent. Yeah. And so just like that, is there the wisdom realizing emptiness within the continuum of the Bodhisattva on the subsequent attainment of the path of seeing?
제가 대양 대지도 제도지 차르고 됐어. 아니 대지도 남도나 라베 대지 대망의 라질라까지 고단이 이미지 좋다. 차르고 말해서. 차르고 그래서.
근데
단단 대지도 제도비 지지 또 이거 또
Yeah, and then also so 그 제도이 시샤오라다.
제도지 많이 나고 그러었어. 제도로 냠자 주말에 제도시 말하려고 그러나. 제도지 차르고 말해서.
So the realization of emptiness within the continuum of the Bodhisattva on the subsequent attainment, right? Subsequent attainment, of the path of seeing, is that a subsequent attainment or not? Is that an exalted wisdom of subsequent attainment or not? The wisdom realizing emptiness, right? The wisdom realizing emptiness within the continuum of Bodhisattva on the subsequent attainment, subsequent attainment of the path of seeing, right? So wisdom realizing emptiness within that continuum, within the continuum of Bodhisattva on the post-meditative equipoise of the path of seeing. You understand my question?
Yes, I would say yes.
Is that an exalted wisdom of subsequent attainment or not?
I think again, latent.
Yeah, latent, yes, of course. But is it a subsequent attainment or not?
No, that would be what was neither the
exactly. So neither, but again, it will meet with the definition of this exalted wisdom of subsequent attainment, right?
Right.
It is coming after the exalted, the path of release, right?
Right.
It is a reason from the path of the path of release. And also it is it has to become manifest there. But it 뭔도 주고요 말이다. 뭔도 주고요 말이다. 이래서.
제가 당연히 저기요 말했어.
뭔도 주고요 말했어. 이나데 단다 제도비시는 뭔도 주고도.
제가 이것도 저거 말해. 뒷돈인 것도 또 말해.
돈이 뭐 또 그래서 나 또 로딩 온도 주고 말았어.
되네 시간 건데 십자도 다 되는 것도 해봐도 되나. 당고 특징을 올려기도 왔어.
So the wisdom realizing emptiness, within the continuum of the bodhisattva on the post-meditative equipoise is not manifesting.
Okay, it is complicated, but think about that. Okay, it's interesting. 다 주마 야보르디 주마다 다 깨들 간이 깨거래서 그나 조놈 토놈 거나 간이 깨다데 간이 디골마 깨다데 와서 아니 주마가 테마 도기다스.
So next, it talks about how the Mahayana grounds are produced, right? How each, the ground, are generated in one's continuum, and so that's a very good part. So we'll continue. We'll start from that next time. Okay.
Okay. Then we don't make more confused. Okay.
Thank you very much, Geshe. Thank you, Damcho.
Yeah. Still read the book. Read again. You can understand some. If you talk, there's so many to talk. Maybe more confused. I think we just slowly go like that way. And it turns out that Satomon Sarada Gawa to Sokola, Chilok was.
So try to find about the like I mentioned about, try to find the definition or the etymology of the 10 grounds, right? The joyful, very joyful, and the stainless, radiant, and so forth.
Okay. Thank you. Now I'm going out to another prayer. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you. Good night.
You guys can finish prayer, okay?
Okay.
Okay.